Pedro and I will be with you shortly. Good day, everybody. We're getting started here in just a moment. We're live, but your mic is not on. Let me turn these things on and get with it here, ladies. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name's Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media world. The man next to me is Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst, coming to you all the way from apparently Mushroom Land. But anyway, today is October 16th, 2025. The theme of the show today was what, ladies and gentlemen? Well, I thought I had that queued up and ready to go. I didn't. Overlay, Bitcoin on the edge, BTC on the edge. Let me get this LinkedIn started here. BTC on the edge, ladies and gentlemen, here on the DYOR Media Network. As I said, my name is Tom. This is Pedro Garcia, crypto chart analyst, October 16th, 2025. Welcome to the show here today. We got a good show for you today. I was trying to think of what's going on. I thought, you know what, Pedro and I have been spent a couple hours in the Space Lounge last night talking about things. We've been talking about what's going on with October this week, whether it's going to be PumpTober or Dumptober. Don't know at this point. What we do know is that we still were calling another dump. And I said, you know what? BTC is kind of on the edge. You can see the chart behind me. It formed this big descending triangle over the past couple of days. And we're just like, looks like it's getting ready for a dump. Made the show graphic, put it on the internet, and not 10 seconds later, El Dumperini started. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, but we're rocking and rolling here. Anyway, Pedro Garcia, welcome to the show. What's happening today, Mr. Pedro?
Everything is good, man. Things are popping like it's hot. And life is well. There is some good movements in BTC, whether it's up or down. It is, and that is really all that I really want. Watching it really kind of sell off here down to these lower levels. We saw it pump a little into the evening, and then we saw this sell off kind of come in. So really interesting to see what happened. And this just came in recently. So obviously we saw push up here from the evening here from 1500 all the way up about 15. What was that? Oh,
I think you got the current
10,
price right behind
all the
me
way up to
here.
112. And then from there, after this happened, we saw the sell off just over the last couple hours just kind of come in. They pushed it up for during the open, and then they basically just pushed it up and then brought it down here. So it's classic push up to go down. And after that, we've watched a good little move here, kind of sell off for BTC. Decent amount of volume coming in as we're selling off. So nice little play. We've got a lot of banks reporting this week, and they're reporting decent stuff. But it's interesting to hear Jamie Dimon bring up some stuff regarding there's just a few banks that might have some negative reports, and it might start a little bit of a, as he said, the cockroaches are going to come out, meaning a lot of negative assets on banks. Literally his exact words.
The cockroaches. I can just hear Michael Corleone say, "The cockroaches." No, not Michael Corleone. Scarface, whatever his name was in Scarface. Oh, those cockroaches. Jamie Dimon talking about it. It's actually somewhat hilarious.
Yeah, well, he is the top of the food chain, so he can if he wants to.
Yeah, I was seeing that their Morgan Stanley unit just posted record earnings in the investment banking division. They're still talking about how they're losing money on the retail side. They just want to get rid of depositors. There's no money in that anymore. It's like you and I mean, if they didn't have to do it to maintain their banking charter, they would just dump us. And they would just be like, why should I deal with, what are they? JP Morgan has something like 30 million depositors, most of which are not, people with $1 billion in their account. They would just be like, just spin that off, like oil companies did for gas stations. They're like, we don't need that crap. Just here, you guys take them. They would get rid of us, but they have to have depositor accounts because that's what their federal charters say. So they keep us.
Yeah. Really.
But Bitcoin, Pedro, Bitcoin is following the plan here a little bit earlier than I planned here. Like I said, and not this chart, but as we talked about it last night in the Space Lounge. For those of you who didn't join us, occasionally Pedro and I do an evening show. We call it the Space Lounge. A little bit less structured and more BS oriented, but we talk about how just right here about how the month is shaping up. Here, as I said, first week up, second week down. Third week was going to be up or consolidation, kind of talked about. And then the fourth week or into the fifth, depending if the market is going to say October's a PumpTober or Dumptober. I don't have any idea. If I could predict that, I would be quite wealthy. But we can try and get an edge. And get closer to predicting it. And anyway, it looks like it's starting to come down. Obviously, if this What do I got here? The daily candle? The daily candle here the daily candle pops down under that 200 period moving average right there and stays down there. We're going to see some significant downside events, but if it bounces off that and get the old dead cat bounce, uh, it'll pop back up a little bit for a little bit more consolidation this week. But Pedro, I'm just learning about the dead cat bounce. Usually, what happens after the dead cat bounce?
It falls down.
the cat's dead. It can't. I read that somewhere and I was like, oh, it makes sense. The cat's dead, so it's just gonna fall down. So, in my mind, the noob mind, looking at the charts and talking about this all month, that 200 period moving average right there on the daily is really important. As Mr. Pedro always tells me, watch them and watch them in the larger time frames. So I'm looking at the daily chart instead of the minute chart, Pedro. Thank you for helping me see the light there. And the red light. Let me see the red light. Oh, wait, that's you. Anyway, it fits the cyberpunkish Blade Runner theme. For those of you listening, we got a little Blade Runner music in the background, which I don't think will get copyrighted claimed. I hope. But anyway, it's because I was, I had fun in the Space Lounge with Pedro last night, and he gets a little bit more cyberpunkish. I got the TradeWave app over there running, and that's in the cyberpunk theme, although I have to have accessible stuff. In other words, my mom says, I can't read that. I need high contrast. So I'm going to make it so you can hit a button and make it high contrast instead of that theme. But anyway, I'm in that cyberpunk mode, so you're getting the Blade Runner music as Bitcoin's getting ready to dump into the doom and gloom, as a lot of people say, and as Pedro and I say, just coming back down to the levels where the institutions are going to buy. The question I had Pedro today for Bitcoin was, where do the institutions want to buy? The key to all of where the market's going to go, as you've beaten into my head over and over again. Where do the institutions want to buy, Pedro?
Typically at the 50, 100, and 200 period moving average. It's typically where they want to buy. So right now we're at that 200 period moving average on the daily here. You can see we're starting to apply some pressure. So this is the pink line right here that I have. And what's really important is you can see they did come in, they bought, they pushed it up. But the 8 period was definitely stronger. So we've got a few things you can look at now in this moment. You can look at the weekly and you can look at the monthly zones here. So you can see here the monthly 8, we hit it,
Sorry.
that's it. And then it sold off, or excuse me, it rallied up from it. But you can see here as we're starting to really kind of fall through these lower levels here, I had to sit there and go, well, since most people are buying because it's Uptober, or Cryptober, um, I would expect this to kind of see the institutions to play the other end here. So maybe as they sell it off into these lower levels here, again, we've got that 50 period moving average at that 101. This could potentially be where people would just kind of say, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to sell off my position. October's over, and hence pushing it down from that 101 level to pushing it back up. Because it's kind of what I do expect to see some form happen. So yeah, it's kind of exciting here to see what they're doing here, and to see that the institutions are really involved. So typically they want to stay and buy in at that 50, 100, and 200 period moving average. Right now on the daily, the 50 is basically hovering above price right now. We also have the 100 above price right now. That's actually what acted as resistance at these levels here. So you saw it come up and kind of tap back on Friday or Saturday here. I believe this was Saturday. Just make sure. Monday. As is Monday. We saw it go up first thing Monday, sell off. So we can see it hit that 100-day and 50 period moving average sitting at these levels. So there's some pretty strong resistance there. Saw the price sell off. Off of that came down to the 200 period moving average. The 200 period moving average doesn't stop price. Expect price to come back down into that 88, or excuse me, not 88, but 98, 90, 99 area right here. And then we will see if price wants to stay If it does see a sell off, I would expect it to come down, tap that uh, 400 period moving average as it comes down. And again, that's that 70 or that 96 area here. And it's in this nice little demand zone that we have here as well. So again, there's some things that they could do. There's not a lot of things that they can do, but there are some, which is basically go up to go down to go up, and then to go sideways. So it's really interesting. But what they're going to do here.
All right, let's take a moment to talk to the crowd here a little bit. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Fire Chicken says, "What up?" Fire Chicken in the house. Thanks for joining us. Crypto Unicorn says, DYOR predicted the Dumo. The Dumpo. Nope, just the dump. Can't type there. Anyway, thanks. Fire Chicken says, make your money on the down days. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Buy the red candles, sell the green candles. This is one of those things. Thanks, everybody that's watching us. Today we're broadcasting over on Rumble, our primary source of fun here. We got the YouTube following up. We even got people watching us on Facebook today, and a bunch of viewers on X again, like we did last night on the Space Lounge. So thanks for everyone that's joining us. We really appreciate it on all platforms. If you're watching on X, ladies and gentlemen, they haven't got it that well done yet. If you're watching on your desktop on X, just right-click on us and open us in a new browser. Hit the chat up. All this type of stuff. We will join you. In fact, I just remembered I do not have the chat running for that, but I will turn it on right now. Right now, welcome X viewers.
Oh, good to have you guys. Nope. One of you guys.
Welcome X viewers. Drop some comments, bitches.
Appreciate every one of you guys. Thank you for coming in today. If you guys could hit that like and share button, that does help us out immensely. Really makes life a little easier for us. You guys rock, especially Coach Crypto. Really appreciate your support and you going out of the way and just reposting us. So that's a big deal. Really want to say thank you to the guys over at DEF CON.
Cheers, Coach Crypto.
At DEF CON, you guys are D-gens and you're in the trenches every day making your cash. And just want to say thank you for coming and supporting us. We really do appreciate you. Also, want to shout out to a few of the other people out there like Zach Humphreys, who shows us love whenever we go over there and just tells people to come watch us. So we really do appreciate that as well.
And Kaching in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Kaching, the man from Minnesota. Thanks a lot. Please elect a new governor so I don't have to call you the great communist state. Welcome, Kaching.
Too. And also what's kind of crazy is that communism is picking up, which is kind of crazy to realize. Like it really is. That what's happening in New York, they're starting to see some fighting back and forth. And it's kind of crazy to see kind of the billionaires basically kind of, I don't know, it's just watching what's happening is really interesting.
That's another case there. I spent enough time watching politics to realize that really bad ideas come out when there's no other good choice. They got it down to this communist guy who, he's a fun guy. He knows how to campaign well. The younger people know how to use social media better. I see that. But the other guy, that narcissist Andrew Cuomo, who is a complete horse's ass, and couldn't stay, just someone who went away in shame as the governor and just had to come back. He said, no, I am somebody, I have to be in power in the limelight. I'm running for mayor of New York. And the people are like, can't you get anyone except that sexual harasser that we had to kick out of office? There's not another good person in New York that can run against a communist? I mean, they could pick me. And they're like, do you have any experience in politics? No. What would you do if you got in? Well, I'd get rid of all the poor people and, everyone distribute the gold to everybody, to the rich people. And they'd be like, all right, that's better than the communists. I just don't understand it. Why couldn't they get someone decent other than the narcissist? I just hate narcissists. I dealt with one in business. and it just grinds you. And those are the people you have to. They literally tell you the only way to deal with them is to excise them out of your lives. And now we have one running for mayor of New York, and people are like, Jesus, I'm going to vote for the commie. But I do like the talks that come out where people go, yeah, state-run grocery stores. What a great idea. My sister lived in the Soviet Union for a while and stood in line for bread. She goes, they're not a good idea. They're just not a good idea. Brando Commando, welcome to the house here, Brando Commando. Thanks for joining. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I always like chicken wings. They're always good.
Yeehaw.
Especially with some blue cheese, some real blue cheese. Sorry. Alrighty. The other thing I thought was really interesting is that as I pull it up here, Steak and Shack.
Steak and Shake?
Basically, Steak and Shack, which is a restaurant, steak burger, basically is creating a Bitcoin steak burger, which I thought was really interesting. Big news day today. Very big news day today. Also, China comes out and says they're going to work with to find some type of solution on the trading deal with America. Is this another circumstance where China just simply says, yeah, we got caught with our pants down, so we're literally going to just abdicate, but then come back even stronger? So I almost feel like, again, this is another play here from Xi to go through and obviously get more power. The longer that he can hold off those tariffs, the extreme tariffs, the stronger he knows that he can keep the charade up. Obviously, we're watching what's happening with the debt. He knows that if you give enough time here to America, we're going to eat in on ourselves sooner or later. So it's going to be really interesting. He's just, this is nothing but him just trying to wait and see who can outlast. That's what this is.
Well, like we talked about yesterday, the customers are in control, not the manufacturers. And Pedro, I did have a note on my things to talk about today, one of which is the trade war. I saw an interesting article about Xi's resource deal, saying, you got to play by our rules. And in a rare stroke of miscalculation, that was a miscalculation by Xi. And it's actually united. All the countries that were pissed off at the U.S.'s tariffs are actually more pissed off at the resource thing from Xi. Because they're just like, there's one thing to say, all right, it's going to cost you more money to sell into our country. But it's another thing to say, hey, I'm the boss here, and wherever you are in the world, you'll play by my rules, my communist CCP rules, or else. And it's actually united a lot of countries in Europe to say, all right, that's it. We're now less done with these guys than we were last week and the week before and the week before and that. A rare miscalculation and misstep, and that's rare in public from the Chinese government, to the point where people go missing when they have missteps like that, especially publicly facing ones. And so it's going to be interesting to see how Xi digs this out, whether he doubles down or if that topic just goes away altogether. If they never mention the word resources for another 6 to 8 months, we'll know that was a huge misstep. And the Politburo there said, even though he's in charge of a lot of things, it's still a balancing act to stay in charge of a Politburo. If we don't hear these words anymore, we'll know he made a misstep. But if he doubles down on it, we'll know that China's in deeper shit.
Well, I think he's going to double down. I do.
Then they're in deep shit because they've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yes, and I think he's going to have to double down because the fact that he lost face there makes him look weak. And one thing about the Chinese culture is that it's not do not look weak in the public. Like, it's just, you do not. And we've seen them mow down people who want to stand up against tanks. We've seen them multiple times just decimate their own people, where they literally killed off almost 1/3 or 25% during anyways, I say that because they don't like looking bad in public, and we're watching them look really shameful. So to see that, I think she will double down on that. I think he will sit there and be like, no, because like I said, he does have the power. He does have the power in relationship to any type of real earth manufacturing around the world is nothing, and he has all of it. So if he really wanted to, he's got the world by the cojones, and he can sit there and say, hey, you want us to yank? Fine, let's play. If you want to play this way. And the thing is, the world is 10 years out. The only people really out there, as you've said and mentioned, is that you have in Iceland, that beautiful area that can actually do a lot. Is it Iceland or Greenland? I think it was Iceland, right? Where they have a ton of rare earth metals, and they're out there and they're able to make a lot of chips up in that manufacturing place. Where is it at? Do you know what I'm talking about?
There's not much going on in Greenland.
The Greenland or Iceland? No, so it must have been Iceland.
I don't know what's going on in Iceland. Bunch of people drinking and playing in the hot springs. Sounded like they're Dutch, but they're not Dutch.
Not Dutch. Anyways, I'm just saying, China, I think, has overstepped their boundary, and they're not going to stop. I don't think they're going to just back down. I just don't see it. And honestly, they do have that power. They do have that power enough to sit there and make the world bend. And that's what if I could do that, if you could do that in that circumstance, yeah, that's what we're going to see.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, lots going on in the world today. If you follow, a lot of these shows just drill in on certain things, like they're going to spend all week talking about Aster or Hyperliquid and stuff like that. Pedro and I just can't resist talking about politics and how it affects your life and all that, because it's fun and it's intriguing and you can't stay abreast of the world news. It distracts us from the goal of making fat bags of cash every day, but it's interesting and it's fun, and obviously we're going to have more info about talking details about crypto when we get that app over there launched. I'll go over that in the second half of the show, but right now we're gonna bring to you a little bit of interesting fun, otherwise known as a Rumble ad. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what we got on the DYOS here today for ads. Oh, come on, sports ones. Where are the sports ones? No sports ones today. We're gonna have to do a good old fashioned standard one here, Pedro. I think I'm gonna refill my coffee now too.
Oh yes, go get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. If you still not tried 1775 coffee, now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. That's right. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard. You're also going to get the smooth medium roast. You're going to get the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus, no crash. You get all three of those coffees when you place an order. And it's all single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip, because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. No plastic freedom. You're getting a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. You're also going to get a black 1775 tumbler, drink your coffee in. $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for just $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 coffee blow up right here on Rumble. Wondering, is it actually worth it, Striking? Yes. Spoiler, it is worth it. Go to 1775coffee/studio, 1775coffee.com/studio, and grab your starter kit before they are gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. As usual, ladies and gentlemen, there's a QR code right over my shoulder here. If you're watching on the big screen TV, hold your phone up, click that QR code, visit our advertisers. They would really, really appreciate your eyeballs looking at their stuff. Helps Pedro and I out greatly. If you're watching on your phone, there's a link in the chat section. There'll be a link. And if you're watching on the replay later, right in the description down there is a link to 1775coffee.com. And thanks to them for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. Love it.
Oh man, it's funny. Oh, a friend of mine just sent this new ad here. basically about Ed Sheeran. And there's this huge meme thing going on right now. It's absolutely sad. Anyways, we're gonna leave that alone. But ultimately, looking at what's actually happening here and the Pete Hegseth mistake on telling journalists, knuckleheads, you got to follow these strict 19 or 20 rules that you have to follow when you want to do any type of stuff with the Department of War. Have you seen that? And how the majority, or actually I think all but one, One America, has agreed not to sign any of that? Have you seen any of that?
I know. I don't know. He must have had some political appointee say, let's set the ground rules. Because actually the press has been getting a little feisty with Pete on various things. Because while Pete was in the news and has been a newscaster, and now he's in the news again as a Secretary of War, he's not really good at ad-libbing things that aren't just talking about how awesome President Trump is. When he, I don't know what the right word is, fellatiates Mr. Trump, he's very good at that. Was that the right word? Is that the right word?
I would leave that alone because the man is part of the whole entire.
All right. So when he speaks ad-libs about things, he kind of talks in circles, and so when the press senses that, doesn't matter if they're friendly press, they go in for the kill because they know that could make their lead story. And anyway, so he's trying to set some ground rules for that, and apparently it didn't go over so well. I mean, rules for the press really need to be informal. It's like, hey guys, I'm just not going to answer questions about this. If you keep badgering me, I'm never going to call you in again. Okay? Right. All right. Let's get on with the press conference. But if you lay out rules that they got to sign, they'll be like, no.
Yeah.
But dear Pete, if you send them to us, we'll sign them because we're the smallest press organization in the world. See?
You know what?
Press.
You know what? I'd fly out there just to ask questions. I'd just be like, Mr. Hegseth, I want to ask a quick question. Where do you have our soldiers sitting? Specifically, like coordinates, especially all the CIA and all of our.
I loved when they were asking Trump that. It was like, what kind of stupid question is that? Well, where are our troops? When are the planes going to strike in that secret mission? And you're like,
yeah.
What you talking about, Willis?
He literally looked at him and was like, that is the dumbest. I'm not going to answer that. Like, it's at a point now where it is almost comical because do you remember when we were in the there was a Saturday Night Live skit? They would never do this now, but there was a Saturday Night skit during the Iraq War, and the journalists were literally asking, where are our troops and where are we going to move them? and literally they were literally mocking the journalists for asking such stupid questions like that, and this was Saturday Night Live doing it, and so I just thought was funny is that we're literally like that is now reality, like that is legitimately now reality, and I am like, how did we get into this bizarre?
Now, I believe you're referring to the original Iraq War in the 90s, right?
Yes,
in the early 90s. Yeah, and one of the best parts of that skit though is the guy playing Norman Schwarzkopf, where he's like, or the other guy talking about bombs, I can't remember his name. He said, well, first of all, the bomb came in, because this is our first real experience with precision-guided munitions. It's going to come down, it's going to seek out the house, it's going to follow a laser beam right to the house, and then it's going to go through the open window, and as it goes through the open window, it's going to skip by the kids' room. That's the kids' room, it's not going to blow up there. Then it's going to open the door to the bathroom and check in the toilet for the bad guys. And then it's going to go back around to the bedroom, not on the wife's side of the bed, but on the bad guy's side of the bed, and that's where the bomb is going to go off. And so we've got it covered. It was hilarious. It was really funny. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Pedro and I getting off on a side tangent on that. As you can see from the great graphics machine over here, it's a sea of red today. Tron is up, though, amazingly enough. Tron's in the news today. with big talk about what bank was it? Some bank is going to be using Tron to do online lending and stuff like that. I can't. I had the article up earlier, but it auto refreshed out of my queue. Anyway, so they've had some good news with Tron. That's what I need to do when I bring up the great graphics machine here. It needs to have a relevant news article or two at the bottom, which I can probably get through RSS feeds.
Ooh, I like that. That's actually really really
that should be easy to do.
It's actually the Kingdom Bank has officially added support for TRX Tron, so it would be the Kingdom Bank. Users can now open dedicated TRX accounts and receive funds via the Tron TRX TRC20 network, signaling a step towards integration Tron into bank services.
There we go. All it takes is a little bit of good news for these chain coins, and
that pops like it's hot, dude.
Popping like it's hot, right? But anyway, as you can see, it's just a sea of red as the great graphics machine cranks through the giant amounts of data that we take in here at DYOR and parses them into charts and arrows and all this type of stuff, otherwise known as an API. For free. Dogecoin running down, Cardano down 1%. Another green one is this Figure HELOC. For those of you that don't know, that's a real world asset lending platform, meaning they are giving people home equity loans on chain and in almost instantly. No job, no credit, no problem, boom, you get a loan. They use public data to sort out what your house is worth. They don't even appraise it or send anyone by. It's really amazing. But as you can see, a sea of red today, driven by Bitcoin and Pedro, what's going on with Nasdaq and the S&P? I haven't looked at those at all today, but I'm trying to incorporate that in the great graphics machine over here.
Holy great. So we're actually seeing a bit of a sell-off today. Market kind of went up, and then we saw a sell-off happen recently. I was actually trying to take part in this sell-off, got stopped out twice, and then it went in my direction, which was very frustrating.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it did sell off, did what I thought it was going to do. I've seen a bit of a pullback, literally from the lows of the 66.54 and pushing back up, but it's still negative for the day, and I would expect it to see kind of sit in this position here, and that is the S&P 500 futures. As you check that out, we're watching the Nasdaq futures doing a similar situation, but it's showing a little bit more bullishness based off of this movement. Let's go ahead and pull up here real quick the Nasdaq in real time here. They're about, from the open of today to today, it's about 100 points off, a little bit over 100 points. So expect to see kind of a stagnate here. If we do see it push up, I would expect to see the Nasdaq basically hover around that, the open, if not maybe close to the highs. But even then, I don't think we're going to see an update for the Nasdaq today. That's it in a nutshell. Now, quick question for you. Let's pull out another news thing, because I thought this was really interesting. Overnight, the Ukrainian-Russian forces mounted a successful drone rally on Russia, power infrastructure in, I'm not going to be able to say that name, Volgograd Oblast, forgive me. Russian officials reported that the major situation was hit. I can't even see that. Yeah. Anyways, forgive me. Basically, it hit and knocked out power to portions of the city and the local area. So it's going to be really interesting with that. What are your thoughts? Really, that we're watching Ukraine really step up and really start to use their drone technology just in a much more efficient and strategic a strategic manner. What are your thoughts on that? I'm realizing. Can you hear me?
Arg, it was me. In war, people iterate through, things really quickly, and they're iterating through how to, have better drones, have better defense against drones very quickly over there. And what I found really, really amazing is that Ukraine is building so many drones that they're actually able to export them. They're raising hard currency by selling their drone technology and software to other countries now, which is amazing, because that's the only way you can survive a war without just somebody like the US giving you weapons, which is never a good long-term plan, unless that party joins you, is by you have to raise your own money and have your own industry to build your own anti-war effort or war-winning effort. And so that whole drone industry is evolving really quickly. And not only that, but the drone defense industry too, which I find interesting. But what I find even more interesting about it is that you've seen the tone of the US government. Trump tried. He tried over and over. He's got another call with Putin coming up. He met him in Alaska, drove him around in the Beast, and said, come on, man, we got to come to a deal. And every time right after those things, Putin goes and sends another 100,000 missiles into, the civilian areas of Ukraine. And Trump I think he finally got to his wit's end. And you heard Hegseth the other day just come out and say, you know what? It's time for us to give the Ukrainians all the weapons they need. I mean, they're getting NATO to buy them, but we still fund NATO, so it's just confusing the dumb people in the US. And this effort, you're going to see, all of a sudden, you're going to see Ukraine just start whooping ass everywhere. Belgium has just taken delivery of a whole bunch of F-35s. Those F-35s are replacing their F-16s. Those F-16s are going to Ukraine. And the Ukraine pilots are learning, because in war, you learn and iterate fast. They're smoking these poor Russians. Like even those S-57 felons that the Russians say, they're better than anything the Americans ever built. Ukrainians are blowing them out of the sky like me holding bottle rockets up and shooting moths. And you're going to see a big shift over there. And it's going to be interesting because Putin's got nothing else left to hold his economy together. The money he's spending, his hard currency that he's getting from oil sales, is going into the war effort. Their economy is shifting into supporting the war effort and making munitions. Russia can build massive amounts of artillery and munitions. Because building artillery is relatively simple. You need a foundry to forge things, and you need mining. And he's got both of those in-house there in oil. You can make all kinds of shells. But what he doesn't have computers and stuff like that. He's got the old school war effort, and he doesn't have joint tactical command of stuff like the US and NATO have and is supporting Ukraine with. So this is going to be shaping up really interesting. Yesterday, Pedro, we talked about the timelines for a lot of things to work out or not with China. That China has a deadline to get their economy in order, that the US has a deadline to get the news in order about what's going on with the debt and the economy before the elections. Putin's got a deadline too, and that's before Ukraine gets their shit together, because the Russians are only going to put up with all their kids dying for so long. And Putin can throw as many of them out the window as he can of the 18th floor of a hotel that people never checked into and claim it was suicide before they do like the Bolsheviks did in 1918 or whenever that was. And I wouldn't be surprised if people aren't rumbling about that now.
Absolutely, it's interesting.
One second. I've got the opportunity to read an ad and take a quick break at the middle of the hour here. Baby Draco, another $215 jackpot on Infineon's Mooner Dust today.
Nice.
12 Pacific time, which is 3 our time here. He says, hello, Chads. I made it here. And of course, we're going to grab one more ad here. If there's no, there's not time for that. Pedro, sorry to have cut you off. I thought it was time for the ad, but we'll do it at the bottom of the hour instead.
Awesome. No worries. There was a which is kind of crazy that this is actually receiving news, but Nancy Pelosi actually went out and made some pretty crazy comments about January 6th and denying the need for the National Guard, and so and she called the journalist stupid. She's a pretty far right-wing journalist, but it was interesting to see Nancy Pelosi get so angry where she turned around and started sticking her finger in the face of the journalist, which I thought was really interesting, because watching the whole entire situation was almost, well, a little too much, I felt like. So either way, I thought that was really I mean, I think that, and I don't like it when Trump does it. I don't like it when other officials in the United States, regardless of their position, and we've talked about how there was the far right guy who turned around and just yelled at one of the journalists. I said, I don't care who you are. Like, if you are a representative of the United States and the public puts you there, you have no right. I don't care. You have no right to sit there and try to, get angry with reporters. And I know we were just making fun of reporters asking crazy questions, but you can simply say, I'm not going to answer that. You don't need to sit there and get all irate with somebody. And so watching whether you're the left or the right politicians get angry with reporters, I think is BS. And you can simply just say, I refuse to answer that question. Have a great day. And I think that's all that needs to be said. So it gets very frustrating. So watching her reaction again, and this isn't the only time we've seen Republicans as well as Democrats do these type of movements, acting as if, I'm standing up. And the reality is, no, you're just being a douche. Don't be a douche. If my tax dollars are going to you, don't be a douche. That's all I'm saying.
Speaking of douches, the governor of Illinois, who is my governor, even though I didn't vote for him, he's still the governor of my state that I'm a resident in. He's a man of the people. He's out there saying ICE agents are jackbooted thugs. He's out there telling all sorts of stuff, that the government is so evil, that they're Nazis, they're terrible. He's a man of the people. He's standing with people. Pedro, the man declared that he made $1.4 million gambling last year on his tax returns. And not just like he was a serial gambler all year. He made one trip to Vegas for an event, and he won $1.4 million playing blackjack. This is a man of the people. This is, you have to, to win $1.4 million in
one hand. Did he just play?
Yeah, you either have to bet $700,000 and win, or you have to be betting, $100,000 a hand and you slowly build it up, or more, $500,000 a hand or something like that. He's worth billions. There's no difference in going there and doing that on the $5 table at the Lucky Horseshoe thing down the street versus going and having the super high roller table. At $1.4 million, the man was born a billionaire because of his grandfather. And betting that amount shows that two things. That's a personality flaw because he wants the trappings of being a high roller. And two, when he ran for election, he didn't take donations from people. He just paid for the whole thing himself. So all he wanted was the trappings of power and saying, I can do this. Look how great I am. And then he goes out and says, I'm a man of the people. makes $10 million in a year outside of his family wealth, and 1.4 of it playing blackjack. I mean, what a effing hypocrite this piece of shit is. Calling law enforcement officers jackbooted thugs and saying that people should run down there and protest and essentially beat them up. And when people ask him, like, you know what, protesting is like, the example I gave is standing on the street corner with flowers and signs and stuff. Protesting is not beating police officers up. And I don't care if they're federal officers or they're a local dog catcher. They're all still officers of the law. You don't beat them up. You support them in their difficult jobs they do. And this piece of crap governor of ours is going out there saying, oh, we have to protest. We have a right to all this kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes out and says, oh, I'm a man of the people at the $1.4 million gambling table. What a loser this guy is. I just don't understand why the people of Illinois keep voting for him. They voted for him twice now.
Well,
anyway, went on a little rant there, but it pisses me off.
I mean, I got to put it like this. Does he have a hot wife?
I think she was in her younger years. Sure, she's a bit younger than him. Nothing wrong with that.
No, I was just joking. It was going to be a bad joke. I'll leave it alone. I realize I'll probably come back and haunt me with that joke, so I'm going to leave it alone. That will not age well. Okay, so another thing. Let's go and check out some nice little stocks here. I'm going to bring up here real quick Meta. Meta has actually been seeing a bit of a sell-off here from the top. And if we break this level of that 708 area here, the next level...
META. Sorry, I forgot what that
for Meta. Okay. It's actually pretty... It's the next levels, honestly, all the way down at the 482 area. So we're about to break... Actually, let me rephrase that. We have the 200 period sitting right here at that 672. But still, you're talking almost 40 points drop from where it's sitting at, which is going to be about 5% drop. So it's going to be really interesting to see if it does come down to here. Again, we're at this kind of crucial level here. I want to bring this up. If you're into stocks and you're looking, we're seeing that their earnings prices, or their earnings is coming up here at the end of October. So you could, if we see a bit of a sell-off, which is typically what happens, if they have good earnings, and then people know, and obviously it never gets leaked out because then that would be illegal. But if we're seeing a bit of a sell-off, we see come down to these lower levels here, I would expect us to honestly see a bit of a rally after their earnings. So I'm kind of paying attention to this real quick. And again, it's this level of that 708 area here. And if we break through and start to come down, we have the 670 area, we have the 599 or 600 area. And if it falls through, if we see like another catastrophe happening in the trade war and what's happening there with basically, because we all know that they're trying to build AI, they're trying to build a whole entire tech system. And well, China's little thing of simply saying, I'm not giving you rare earth metals, it's going to hurt Meta. So we could see this thing kind of fall through real quick and then see a pickup level. So just be ready in case we do see something of that nature. But again, it's the break of with volume, the 708. My biggest thing that cues it for me is just this, is we're watching buyer volume kind of slow down here. And we're watching seller volume pick up here. So that's why I'm expecting us to see a bit of a sell-off here when it comes to Meta. Alrighty then. Quick question for you. Russia's new JFK assassination dozer. Have you seen this?
No, I can't wait to hear this.
All right, so the U.S. Rep. U.S. Republican Anna Paulina Luna has publicly released a dossier. She claims detailed Russian findings on the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. 350-page document was delivered by the Russian administration and is now available for public access. So I have not read it yet. I was saying, did I say dossier? Dossier.
Dossier.
Dossier. Forgive me. Dossier.
Oh, it's French.
Yeah, so I'm going to actually send it to you as well, and then we could read through it and see.
I love it. There's just nothing, no assassination attempt anywhere in which people just can't get it through their head that maybe just one guy did it. Like the Charlie Kirk thing, John Kennedy thing.
No way.
Ronald Reagan, all this stuff. They're like, there's no way these people, they're not smart enough to do all that because criminals are wizards. It boggles my mind. It's like, there's no way. It has to be a conspiracy with thousands of people in it and countries and all this kind of stuff. Yet to this day, Pedro, not a single person has gone to their deathbed. Of the thousands needed for these conspiracy theories in multiple countries now, not even a single Russian has gone to his deathbed and gone, Vladimir, yes, we killed him. Vlad is the Russian word for John. Oh no, that's Ivan. Ivan is John.
All right, there you go. Well, I just think it's interesting.
The Incas weren't smart enough to make Machu Picchu. Right, I know. It's aliens. It was Jesus, that was aliens. They did it. Just like the pyramids, aliens, because Egyptians weren't smart enough.
Well, I got to put it like this. How does Building 7 fall? That's all I'm going to say.
I'll tell you exactly. You want to know?
There's too many.
The whole thing. The whole.
Too many engineers. There's too many engineers.
The whole thing. That whole.
And said there's no way that from a structural
not a single one of them has worked there like I have.
Fallen perfectly.
That's Pedro. There was a 20-story parking garage underneath it, and that was part of that whole complex was one building. Did you know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 World Trade Center was actually one building?
Literally see the video in the video camera of it flowing. Explosions below it as it's going.
It was just the internal beams collapsing. They weren't explosions.
No,
that's all bullshit.
And there's none of that. Anyways,
BS. One building the size of Chicago's downtown was the World Trade Center underground.
No
way. It all fell down.
Many engineers who said that cannot happen. There's just no way. There's no way.
And there's presidents of the United States that said I'm cognizant too. Right? I've worked there. I built a tennis court on the World Trade Center. A tennis court on the World Trade Center platform. I've commuted in and out of the buildings down there underneath, way down, so far down your ears pop. It's all one building down there, or it was. Literally 20 to 30 stories down in different parts. And above it, most of the buildings were only, like 4 World Trade Center and 5 World Trade Center are only 15 stories or 12 stories. And then 1 and 2 were just kind of the center part of the building. It's just more people like, oh yeah, look, that video shows it was definitely the Israelis and they planted exploding jet engines and you're just like, move on, losers.
All right, next. So let's check out BTC here real quick. We're seeing BTC pick up some volume here. As we're seeing it come down. So we're seeing it pull back here. I think we're going to see it break that 107, 470 area here today. So if it does, if we close below here, expect us to see a rally into the evening and then a sell-off into the to the lower parts here of that 106. And that right back to you, Tom. What do you have to say, my friend?
I have to say that it is time for us to make a little money. I think we're going to make money. Let's see. Should it be 15 cents or 18 cents?
Let's go. Come on. Big money.
Obviously, we're going 18 cents here.
No whammies.
no whammies. No whammies.
Come on, people. Y'all remember that.
Oh, where did that ad just go? There it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You've probably noticed that Rumble is growing fast and it's not slowing down. Nope. They're building a real alternative to big tech that puts creators first and actually protects free speech. And now there's Rumble Premium, an easy way to upgrade your experience. With Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform. No pre-rolls, no interruptions, just the content you came for. Plus, Premium members unlock exclusive content like bonus videos, behind-the-scenes drops, and more from your favorite creators like Pedro and I. Right now, Rumble is offering $10 off an annual subscription. Just go to rumble.com/premium and use the promo code STUDIO at checkout. That's rumble.com/premium, promo code STUDIO. No ads, more freedom, and the content you actually care about. That's the deal. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great deal. You know why? Because Pedro and I have to do part of our Rumble Creator Program. We create a lot of content in the premium section only. You get to hear us talk more casually, more candidly about what's going on with Bitcoin, and we're going to start talking about our trade wave talks or trades in there as well as that app comes out. So you should take this time to get a deal, $10 off, and join Rumble Premium. It's really a good deal. You get to watch Steven Crowder and all the other people that share the premium space as well. As always, if you got a big screen TV you're watching us on, there's a QR code right here. Hold your cell phone up there, click that, visit Rumble Premium, hit the link below us to register. We get credit for that. Thank you very much. And if you're watching on the phone, there's in the chat section, there's a link, and there's also one if you're watching on the replay in the description. But if you use that register button there and register with the DYOR, then Pedro and I get to go to Ibiza, and you know what we do there. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to rumble.com for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live.
There we go. Look at that. Moving on up. Alrighty then. Real interesting here. President Trump basically has this call with Putin, and it looks like it was a productive call and confirms that they will meet soon in Budapest.
Budapest.
There you go. Budapest. He posted it over there if you're wondering where he was talking. They were talking on the phone earlier today. Not earlier today, but it was a few minutes ago. And actually, CBS News is the ones who reported it. And he just went through and posted what everything went and how everything went down on social or on Truth Social Media, which is his platform. Alrighty, there you go.
How is he going to get to Budapest?
That's a great question.
He can't fly over Poland. He can't fly over Ukraine. The only way to do it is to fly down the Black Sea, literally fly over the Strait of the Isthmus of, or it's not the Istanbul, whatever the strait is there. Anyway, where Asia meets Europe in Istanbul. Come down through the Aegean Sea the Aegean Sea. Go up through the Adriatic, and hope that Croatia or Slovenia will let you fly over them. But one of those guys is not an EU member down there. I mean, Budapest, Hungary is right in the middle of, Eastern Europe. And Hungary's part of the EU. I don't know how. That doesn't make any sense that they would be allowed to get there. I don't know. That's not for me to worry about, but I just saw that and was like, wait a minute. Baby Draco says, I thought it was a big insurance scheme. I don't know which topic it was talking about. There's a lot of big insurance schemes, but I don't know which topic it was, Jesus.
Yes. Gotta love those insurance schemes. They pay well.
Oh, 9/11. No, that wasn't an insurance scheme. The guy Larry got hosed on that. Larry Goldstein, whatever. He leased 2 buildings, and he only got paid for one of them getting blowed up. He got hosed on that. Blowed up. He got hosed and blowed.
Lord forgive us, please.
Insurance.
So I think what's interesting is that when you look at what's actually happening in the world and everything that's correlating here, it feels like it's getting ready for the market to dump. I really do feel like that. Like this, like him flying over someplace, that would almost be like, how's he gonna get there? Well, he gets there, but then there's a shot heard around the world. So
wow, you never know about that. You're right.
And the fact that the market isn't really moving much, I mean, and gold is just skyrocketing, it almost feels as if maybe some conspiracy theory is going to populate. So it's a little nerve-wracking, honestly, in all of this. Like with what you're saying, with the fact that he can't cross Budapest, that's scary. Like if he's gonna go there and then all of a sudden, DP starts to get jacked up, man, that's scary. That's kind of scary. Hopefully nothing happens and he gets there safely and easily, but we shall.
Peka says there's a video where some guy talks about how those buildings need to be retrofitted and it was going to cost me. I don't think you understand how big those buildings were. I worked in them. And one and two World Trade Center, the twin buildings, they were so massive. I mean, millions of dollars wouldn't renovate the lobby in those places. I mean, they were huge. As you could see, a 767 goes into the side of it, and it just goes in part of the building. It doesn't, like most buildings in the world, a 767 hitting it would just shear it off. Those buildings were massive, massive buildings, and like I said, the whole World Trade Center footprint of Lower Manhattan is the size of downtown Chicago. The whole loop, like all of downtown Chicago would fit in that, and it was one building with just all those different ones popped up on top of it. It was just an amazing. Still, it's still amazing now, but it's just different now, as they say. Oh, let's get back to the crypto for. Pedro, the thing's a little off. It says a Rumble ad read coming in 3 minutes. I don't have a Rumble ad read in 3 minutes.
Alrighty, then. I love it. Let's check out a couple other things here that we're actually starting to see drop off. You can actually watch ICP fell through our area here. We're starting to see it descend again into the lower regions here. And so if this thing really starts to pick up some steam, which we're watching a lot of seller volume come in from ICP here. Not to be confused with Insane Clown Posse. This thing is internet computer processing, I believe is what it's called, or internet computer something. Protocol, there you go. I would expect to see it really kind of come back down and touch that the $2.05-6 area here. So get ready for a little bit of a sell-off here. And honestly, I'm just kind of waiting because it's at its lows here. Sooner or later, we'll see it consolidate and somebody's going to come along and buy this up. Literally, purely because it has a giant community. And that giant community is nothing but exit liquidity for them if they push the market up. It's purely a gas trade where they're just going to gas people up. But either way, there'll be a lot of money to be made there. So I'm kind of looking forward to it kind of dropping below.
Pedro, what was that entry price that you said for that?
I'm looking at that 2.056 area here. So that's the entry area that we want to see kind of come in, hit, and then see it potentially come back up to that 4.7 area. But again, we always look to get a quick little payday. Remember, 1-to-1 ratio. So we'll definitely come back to this when this hits it. But it's one of the things that are on my radar to get in as it sells off. So that's it.
But what strategy would you say that would be? Like the
rope-a-dope.
A rope-a-dope. I'm actually going to enter this one into the TradeWave Trade app here as a real idea for you. I don't have a good one on there. I have a...
This is not a set it and forget it. This is wait and see trade. So when it comes down there, we're not just going to jump into it. We want to see volume, buyer volume come in on the lower time frames, just to make sure that we just don't get wrecked. But ultimately, this is going to be a fairly quick trade where we're looking maybe for a day or two. Down, show volume coming in, and then pushing back up.
Why can't I change these? All right, well, I'll work on that later when we're going over something else here. Let me fix this clock here so it doesn't screw up my friend here.
Thank you, good sir. Thank you. Now let me argue with you a little bit more, Tom, about some stuff.
Yes, sir.
Real quick. Okay. So in relationship to the meme world, where you have many a time said memes are dead, and I said I don't think so. It's just there's too much money coming in. We've been watching the meme coins die here. I mean, like literally, like you look at Shiba Inu, we're watching Doge, and these are like the grand, the grandiose like side of things, right? It's like, get out of my way. It's a Doge coming through, right? But it's really interesting that they're kind of all following the same type of pattern here, right? Especially the meme coin ones, like Doge here is buying here. Give me 1 second. Boom. Let me make sure I get that correct here. Pardon me.
Why would my rate limit be?
Going on? Are we about to crash?
No, I'm setting my API rate limit for the great graphics machine there, and I shouldn't be.
Gotcha. So we're at this primary point here, which is kind of like the we're just following that 8 period moving average. You can all see the majority of crypto is following this right here. Doge is kind of looking hot here, down at these lower levels. So we saw it come all the way down here. And the next level that we could see it come and test is that 777 area. Again, that's that 0.777 area. And I'm looking at this as a nice little kind of buy and push all the way back up to 10 cents when it comes down and hits this level. So gonna be ready for that if it does come back down to that, because that's gonna be a nice little trade and play here. Again, these are quick trades. Leave a moon bag there in case it does go. And if you're gonna trade these on the futures, then this is the one that you would want, or not this one, but these are the type of plays that you want to go and make quick cash and get out and keep building your powder. This is one right here. Let's look at Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu is again looking the same situation. We saw it bounce off our zone here. Let's go erase some of these ones right here. Now, what's interesting is it blew through these and came down and tapped the low one here. Now, this is actually a good sign right here of it tapping this 877 area, primarily because if it comes and taps that, and then we see it go down even further, but in a sense where we're watching buyers step in. So you can see buyers are stepping in, sellers are weakening, even though we're seeing it come down. So this is a good sign of saying, hey, look, most likely this is going to be bottoming out here, and see it go up from that moment on. So this is where I'm kind of looking here, either right here at that 877 area, or potentially coming back down to the lows of the 638 area. And I believe that's 6 zeros or 50638. So nice little area here to play off of this if it does come down here. If you're Zach Humphreys and you're looking to get back in, kind of at the lows here is really where you want to get back in, and then kind of dollar cost, I wouldn't even say dollar cost average here, just simply just wait for it to hit that and see it bounce back up. It's a lot of, like if you see, like I said earlier, we're not seeing a lot of real sellers step in, and we're watching buyers step in at large scale here. So this is really kind of the idiot box that we're kind of sitting in here.
Oops, sorry about that. I had myself on mute there.
It's all right. Speaking of the
Well, I kind of consider the whole. I've always thought the whole Shiba system itself was one giant idiot box since the big dump. Whenever it was. No, not that dump. I mean the big dump. There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
It literally went to like 9-0, like almost took off that 0. I still think we're gonna get up there. I still think we're gonna have a big push in Shiba Inu, this bull run. And I know it sounds crazy, but I just think that's going to happen just because there's such a huge market. They have such a huge community there that, I mean, it makes sense that, they would be a prime target for institutions for exit liquidity. You there, my friend? Did I lose you?
Nope. Sorry, I was just doing a little social mediaing up time, try to drum up. We're doing pretty well on X today, so I was trying to drum up even more viewership on X for the last half of our show. Later.
Really good. I'm actually gonna have to leave around 2ish, so.
That'll work fine because then I'll take that time to talk about the TradeWave app, and then I'll close the show up right after that.
All right. Well, we are coming up. So what's the next commercial break? Boom, crypto talk now.
Yeah,
okay.
the show is on time now.
Yep. So speaking of, I thought this was really interesting. Bezos and Elon's salary. I thought this was really interesting here. And I think this is indicative of a lot of crypto guys here. So here's their salary pushing up, and then this is crypto salary here. There you go. All right, there you go. I thought that was funny. All righty.
That's good.
That was good. I thought the same thing too. I was like, there we go. Lamborghini, McDonald's, Donald Trump. There you go, buddy. Alrighty, man.
He gets so much mileage out of that McDonald's drive-through trolling. I mean, it just never ends. You too can be president. They show all these people working drive-throughs. You too someday can be president of the United States. Trump's like that.
It's so good. Well, the worst part is when they literally, for Mrs. Vice President Harris, her whole entire. I used to work at. Somebody literally took somebody else and posted her face on that worker at McDonald's, and the person didn't even go out of their way to really research it to see if this person was still alive or their family was still around. Right? It was like almost, what was it, like 30 years ago, 40 years ago? And the sad part behind it is, like, when you really look at that meme, well, it wasn't a meme, it's now become a meme, but it's almost that sense of like, man, you talk about, if she ever runs for office again, that's going to be the thing that's going to haunt her. I mean, like, there's going to be this, like, yeah, whatever, Miss McDonald's worker. Like, like, it's like the one thing it's going to just be, it's going to hurt. I think it's going to hurt. Anyways, alrighty. Any good news that you have?
I'm still alive.
Talk about?
Hold on one second. I'm typing one thing here into the new TradeWave.
Go ahead. While you're doing that, I'm basically I can bring up some stuff about BRICS here. So China plans to mass produce flying cars in 2026. And it's actually a pretty cool picture of the flying car that they're going to be bringing out. I'm a little nervous about it, but I think I would literally do it because I want to be like George Jetson. So, I just think it's cool. Let me show you here real quick. Flying car. I'm going to pull it up on the screen here. China's flying car.
Fix this. I'll do that on the commercial break.
And 326. There we go. Image. No, where's it? I had it right. Is this it? Nope, that's not it. And nope, that's not it. It's this little one. It's actually kind of cool looking. I literally was like, it's a little two-seater here. But I thought to myself, like, I'll just show it here. Boom. You can see, I just think this is cool looking right here, right? Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's about the size, but it's really these little propellers here in the back here in the front. That's like, I would totally use this. I mean, like, I would say if I had to go across town and I didn't want to hit traffic, right? Like, I would use that. Like, boom, just go through, use that, pick up the kid, and then from there, you know, like, come back. I think that would be cool.
Imagine the carnage if these things are self-flyable. I can see if they're all on a system where you just hit the button and the great computer system guides you through the sky and puts you in, you know, it puts you in traffic, in the air traffic with everybody else, and you don't have control over it. I could see that. But imagine these things falling out of the skies like lead safes after whacking into someone. You know, when the morons hit each other on the highway, they spin out and maybe take another car out with them or two or something like that. These guys are going to come down on the church. They're going to come down on the neighborhood that has 1 million people living in it in China. They're going to be falling out of the skies like dead mosquitoes, but that weigh 1,000 pounds. It's going to be epic.
That's actually kind of scary, dude.
I know, right? I know, but think about it. I mean, if none of them you can't fly them, they're just robo flyers. That's one thing, because then they're guided, they only go certain ways, and you can't vary from it. It's just like a taxi. But if you can fly it yourself, I can see out in the sticks, whatever, you're on a farm, like a helicopter. But just think, it's just, you know, forget the robo car or flying cars. Just think if in the city where you lived, 20,000 people had helicopters. It would be carnage. They'd be fighting. Imagine fighting for a parking spot. Oh, I'll get you with my tail rotor.
Lord, dude. That's just scary, dude. I'm like, now I'm thinking about that. But the thing is see, always got to deal with people who need help. It's those special people.
They're all Cousin Eddies out there. Just remember that. Everyone's
Cousin Eddies.
Everyone's a Cousin Eddie. Imagine Cousin Eddie driving the helicopter. Boozing.
Craziness. All right, here's one for you.
All right, go ahead.
President Trump basically issues a warning to Hamas. If Hamas continues to kill people in Gaza, we will not, which was not part of the deal, we will have no choice but to go in and kill them.
Right.
Like absolutely. Like if you keep doing that, bros, we're gonna go and just murder you. Like, just giving you heads up. Like,
I mean, what did he honestly think was going to happen? Sorry, people here. I got the price graphic up by itself. The screen's coming right back up here. There we go. What did they think was going to happen here, Pedro? I mean,
yeah,
men with guns with no jobs that are used to living off stealing people's food and getting free money from Iran suddenly got nothing to do. They got no income. They've got no food, no way to support their own family, yet they got a whole bunch of guns. And they were essentially an organized crime family in the first place. Well, they're just going to continue doing what they're doing. But everyone knew that was going to happen. So I think it's just it's a convenient excuse to go in and do the pew 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 pew, and be done with them. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's the top of the hour here. Pedro, I'm going to run a commercial, the regular commercial break, and take a bio break here. If you have to run off, then thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back at the top of the hour here, we're going to talk about the app TradeWave that I got up over here on the side of the screen. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes. right, everybody, welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining us in this half hour of the show. Pedro had to run and take care of some things. I'm going to take this time to talk about something new that's going on with us that I'd like to talk about here, and that is our TradeWave app. If I can pull it up here. Where is the pricing? Pricing. All right, let me add it here, ladies and gentlemen. Scene pricing. Graphic. Fortunately, my system is running so slow that I can't move it. Just doesn't work. All right, well, we'll head over to the chart screen and work on it there. If it goes there. There we go. Pedro and I have been working on giving you guys good quality information for a long time now, especially as it relates to trades. Oh, there's Crypto Mike in the house. Thanks for joining us, Crypto Mike. Really appreciate it. I forgot to check the social media here at the top of the hour. Cut that segment out for a short. Just watch the possum hiss at the homeless guy peeing behind our dumpster at work. That's some news. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. Bitcoin dumping today, as predicted by Pedro Damasai and Tomo Damas. Actually, it started dumping right after I made the show graphic on the precipice here with Bitcoin. I'll bring the chart up in the background here. Things are running slow today. But anyway, Pedro and I have long talked about a way to better get you guys the information regarding the stuff we talk about here in the show. And what's going on with development of an app that we've been talking about for a long time called TradeWave. I've tried to talk about the development over time. I've released an app a while ago, an alpha version. Well, that was weird. An alpha version of the... Where did my screen go? There it is. And I sent that out. Crypto Mike looked at it. I trashed that one. It just didn't do what we wanted to do, and nor was it secure and all this type of stuff. So the other day, and I've been putting this off for a while, the software that I used for the grade graphics machine over there was coming up for renewal. And I said, I don't want to pay for that anymore. And then so I kind of hacked together my own pricing module using just the web, that type of stuff. And I said, wait a minute, Tom. You can put off all of this development. You don't need to hire anybody. You don't need to do anything. You can do it yourself. I'm pretty good with tech and all that type of stuff. And with the assistance of AI helping me out here, I was able to put together this new app that I call TradeWave. As you can see over here, this is the front page of it here. When you launch the app, it just brings up the top 20 cryptos. And this is just the basic entry point here. There'll be top 20, just like CoinGecko, and top memes, top this, top that, and all that kind of stuff. But that's, you can consume that information anywhere. This page won't be part in the lookup here, where you can look up any crypto stock or whatever. It won't be part of the as I call it, the pay-per-view part of it. Our TradeWave app ultimately will come with a fee associated with it, because things that are free, people kind of treat as free things. Things that people pay for, they value. And I think people will value the advice that Pedro and I give, especially the trades like Pedro did today, talking about ICP. There was no good way to keep track of that. It's just no... Hold on. Sorry, everybody. Our new neighbor is a door slammer, not a door closer. You close the door like this so it doesn't make noise. The new neighbor is a kabam person. Just lets the door slam behind them. Things that irritate Tom, because it makes the dog bark every time. Anyway, what I was saying, we didn't have a good way of bringing this information. We kicked around having a Discord channel, and a lot of crypto people and big crypto projects have Discord channels. They're very ubiquitous and easy to use. Discord is a high-level management operation. It takes a lot of time. You need someone that's good at Discord. There's a lot of information on Discord that people provide that could get hacked, and people try and hack Discord accounts all the time. I said I need something more simple than that, something that hackers can't really do anything with. I mean, they could, deface the front of this and put Hamas messages on it like they did at the airports across Canada today. But that's not damaging. What's damaging is if people get their personal information hacked and used for nefarious purposes, or their account used in places that a Discord account is accepted. So I said, we're going to skip that for now. We're too small. We don't have the overhead for that. We just need a nice lightweight app. Not even one you get from the store, the Play Store or the iOS store. It's an HTML5 web app. You can run it on your desktop, you can run it on your iPhone, Android, whatever you consume your stuff. And what is the most important part about it? It isn't just looking up the price of Bitcoin. Yeah, I got a neat graph up there, the 7-day chart there. And if you click on it, the Bitcoin chart, it brings up the information I always have on the great graphics screen over here. Plus, I've added the little thing here where you can look up the price for the last year just with your mouse and stuff like that. It's just little convenient things, and I'm going to put a couple of news articles under each one, pulling from RSS things there too. Nothing of that's wizardry, but where we're really going to create the community is having the videos that we make, not just these long form ones, but the videos we make that are part of Trade Wave, and telling people why we're making trades. And they're going to go on this page here that says videos. And right now I just have our show videos up, like the one up there today, last night's Space Lounge, and I'll just pulls it from our YouTube playlist. But we're going to have the reasons why we make certain trades and certain calls. And that page is called Trades. And I've been trying to adjust the screen so you could see it, but didn't work out. You know what? Let me just copy this. Let me just copy this here. Let me see if I can get that to work better so you can see it. My system's just running so slow here today. Let me refresh that. Yeah, okay. Nope, that didn't work. I guess I need some time. Anyway, let's just get back to it here. Over in this section now, if you can see at the top here, it has a section that says ICP and long, because Pedro today called out a long for ICP, saying in the information that's over here. Over here it says who the trader is. That says Pedro up there, and you'll be able to click on that and see all of his calls. Symbol ICP, trading strategy, liquidity level. What Pedro said is when ICP comes down to this entry point of 2.056, that's a good time to buy. And the reason why, liquidity level. He is sussed out from the technical analysis of it that that's a level where there's lots of orders and likely would be support, and we'd have a bounce off of that. And then, the strategy notes, identify liquidity pools and order buckets where price will retrace to and then bounce off of. As we always say, wherever the liquidity is, that's where price will go, because that's where people can place the larger orders and get them filled. So that's where price chases money, not the other way around. And then it gives you the exit point and the anticipated risk reward, which is a guess based on if you're using leverage or not. These are mostly futures trades we talk about here. And then he goes on also for Ethereum, for XRP, all these types of things. I'll be putting some in there too. And hopefully we'll also have partner groups like the DeFi Dojo Lounge or Infineon putting their information up there as well at some point in the future. But this is what we think people will pay for. All the things we talk about on the show. Hey, this is where it is. We go over so many of them that you can't possibly remember unless you're taking notes in the great book of rug pulls like I do. It's very hard, and many of you guys just listen in the background while you're working. And it's impossible to keep track of what we say. You might be able to remember one of them. Oh, I got to remember to buy SHIB at such and such point. Now you have a place to do it. And we think many of you will pay $5 a month in crypto. No credit card required in crypto to have this information. And we're really looking forward to it. It's a big development effort. This is still an alpha version, kind of an advanced alpha version. We don't have the logins all created for it yet, or the payment set up. Hopefully I'll have that by this time next week. I hope to have that done, and we'll get ready to roll. But then another, of course, if you're going to trade as a community and form a community, you got to be able to talk smack as a community too, and mess around with each other. So we have a chat function too. It's just like Discord, in which you can go in and post in different rooms and stuff like that. There's the general room here. There's also a Bitcoin discussion room. There's all types of things just to help everyone talk smack with each other. As Pedro says, he likes to post receipts of trades, how they went. People can exchange ideas, just what things happen in typical trading rooms. And we believe this will create a community of like-minded people that want to learn about what Pedro and I talk about, and then also want to, I don't know why these pictures aren't auto-loading. They should. Look at this picture of Pedro here. That was just only a few weeks ago, ladies and gentlemen. We had Jesus Pedro. I even had long hair too. Crazy. Crazy. But anyway, so our app will have, to start with, the listings. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Whew. The listings of cryptos that you could look up and research and do all the normal things you can do. It'll have this section of videos, and I forgot that part of the thing here, this blank space here next to underneath the word long, will have the vertical video of Pedro and I talking about why this trade is valid. It might just be a snippet from the show that we put up there, or whatever. But so you'll be able to consider, I don't really understand this. What did Pedro say about it? Boom, click it. Pedro says, I'm taking this trade because I'm got this level here picked out at 2.056. However, this is not just put a limit order in and forget it. It's one you have to pay attention to and watch it bounce off before doing it. So good information being brought to you. And that's TradeWave, ladies and gentlemen. TradeWave. And I'll reach out to some of you to give you an alpha with the address to go in and try it out as an alpha test. We're going to go through all this testing of it. Then we'll wipe it clean, get it, reload it, and start off fresh with it. Hopefully by the end of October here, and have a working system which we can charge you people monies for. I'm sure we'll have all sorts of competitions and giveaways and things like that as well. And we'll also be redoing our show too. DYOR Live. We'll switch to more of the stuff Pedro and I like to talk about in a shorter form and fewer days a week. In TradeWave, we'll do a TradeWave episode, which may be completely recorded in the morning, or AI driven or whatever, explaining what the day's trades hold, whether there's been any changes to yesterday's trades. And that'll be a quick hit half-hour show in which we just talk about the trades and the good stuff for you guys to consume quickly. So if you've got any comments about that, I'd really appreciate it. Obviously, a lot of people dropped off here at the end of the show, but thanks to the 24 people watching or have recently watched on X, Rumble, YouTube, and even Facebook there. I appreciate it. What do we got going here? Time to read it. One more ad. Nope, we don't qualify for the ads right now. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you today about TradeWave. Go back to that. There we go. There's let's see, you can't see it. My stupid system I can't really adjust stuff while I'm broadcasting. Anyway, but like before, a C a sea of red today, except for Tron. Tron's the lone standout, although that's coming back down. It was up a lot more. It was up 1 point something percent. Now it's only at 0.18%. Cardano down 3.5%. Let's see what other big losers. I really like the Chainlink down a lot. Chainlink's getting a lot of good news lately. That thing's gonna boom one of these days here soon. Hyperliquid down 3.5%. Back down. It was close to $50 there for a while. Back down to 37. Big pullback for them. Even Stellar, Jesus, we got Stellar pulling back. I forget how Pedro called that the other day. Anyway, let's go back to Bitcoin here and talk about Bitcoin behind me on how it is going to shape up here for the week. Let's look at it. I'm gonna have to readjust my descending triangle here, obviously. And this actually makes it, doing this now makes it somewhat bullish. Instead of got a descending wedge, instead of a descending triangle. I don't have these terminologies right. I don't have them right. just don't have them right. Anyway, and I don't, let's look at the RSI here, see if there's any divergences. Yeah, there's some divergences here. We got what's called hidden bullish divergence here. So I don't think the big dump is going, unless I can't see that well. It's more like that. All right, this changes my outlook here. The dump today, unless we see it just bang right through this. Oh, you know what? I didn't realize it. I was blocking that chart. I know this looks like a dragon head or something, but I previously, before the show today, all week, this was like this. It was like that. And as we know, when the bottom line is flat and the other one is coming down, it's going to keep coming down. And when we flip this chart, you can see it happening. When this is flipped, if the chart's like this, you're looking at that. That's a classic bull flag right there, right? Classic. It's going to break out and go up out of it, of which it did, except it's a bear flag. And it broke out on the way down here. Big breakout here today. When you look at the overall size of the flag here, you know, this is the 1 hour chart over the whole week, going back to the 11th, from when that massive dump was. Let's see. So anyway, but now what you do is you look for, you know, what's going to happen next. You look for divergence, and dumps always make a divergence. You know, that's what happens. The price moves very quickly before the RSI and stochastics catch up and all that. The stochastics chart not working. But as you can see here on the RSI, on the bottom of the lows are forming an upward trend. Pricing is forming a lower lows trend. That's what's called hidden bullish divergence. Crypto Lifer taught me that. Usually leads to a turnaround here. Let's see how that plays out with our monthly strategy here. The monthly strategy was actually that this week here, the third week, this is October, the red arrows indicate a week in October of price action. Like I said earlier in the show, the first week going up, second week going down, and the third week either going up, and it's that short arrow, which means it's either going up or going to consolidate. And so we still have, you know, a day and a half left in this week. And if we're showing hidden bullish divergence here, it's entirely possible that the Friday will do this. Like that for Friday. And have a nice pump back up to 110, 111. That's not any sort of real technical analysis there. Pedro would probably roll his eyes and stuff like that because I'm not looking at the various levels and things like that. I just know that when there's hidden bullish divergence, usually there's a good chance of it following it. Obviously, there's a lot of stop orders in this area right here. A couple of days as the highs here. So if we can get to that and break through it, there'll be a short squeeze all the way up to the next level, which is 116 or something like that. Pedro was, Pedro was talking about it going up today like that. So he's calling that the same thing as well. Anyway, good stuff to talk about. Hey here, Tamadamas. Yes, Jesus, Tamadamas. So let's see how that goes, and if the week indeed finishes up as I called it on October 1st or 2nd. Can't remember when I made these numbers here. Like I said, I got this going to 116 here. Not really to scale, but if it goes up enough later tonight or in tomorrow's session and generates a short squeeze, it'll hit 115 again. But like I said, it's precipitating the big dump that we're anticipating. Pedro and I are convinced that it's got to come back down to 100,000 or less. We believe it's going to be this month, and that it will do that before, as you can see, the big red arrow heading on up to the moon here behind my head. Got to have a big down before it does a big up. Just how it works. Not all the time, most of the time. Most of the time. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, playing that Blade Runner style cyberpunk music in it all day here, just because Bitcoin on the edge, BTC on the edge, and I have the girl getting ready, just as Bitcoin, getting ready to jump off the edge of a super tall building in a cyberpunk city. So I thought the cyberpunk Blade Runner music would do well today. Oops, that was the wrong button. This one here. But anyway, that's it for the show today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad you guys, glad you stuck around. Let's get the kick tracks rolling here. Why didn't that work? There it comes. Let's turn that volume down there. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you today. Did a good show. Thank you very much, everybody. Pay attention to this chart that I've got up there. I'm getting a little better at these skills. Pedro's been teaching me well, along with Master Friend and Crypto Lifer. This, as you can see over here, wow, my arm disappears there. As you can see, this hidden lower lows or higher lows on the RSI, lower lows on the pricing, hidden bullish diversions. Pay attention, that usually means price will be going up. Hopefully it'll do that for Friday here, and we'll have called the third week in a row correctly on price. Would be a good thing to put in our old little cap here. Yes, I know. Let's get some volume here with the kick tracks. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to everyone that stuck around watching us here. We've got, well, right now the Great Machine says that across all platforms, 37 people still tuned in. Whether their eyeballs are still on their machine or not, or they're at work just listening, I thank each and every one of you for watching and participate in this great experiment Pedro and I are doing to get rich or die trying. Thanks for putting up and listening to my talk about trade wave. It's coming like a wave, like a tidal wave to you. Trade wave, whatever. Y'all have a good day, says Baby Draco. And we're going to go on that note. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to have hosted another episode of this great show. If you're a sponsor or a product marketer that wants to place stuff, Pedro and I are waiting to hear from you. I'll put your stupid energy can right in front of me. So anyway, we'll see you here tomorrow at the same time, the same day, the same bat channel. What are you guys doing here? The show's over. Go home.